So our last talk for this session on tokens, authorization, all such things is coming to us from Dave Dykstra at Fermilab, talking about their transition to token authentication.
Come back. Yep. All right. So we've been hearing a lot about tokens to this afternoon. It's because we needed to switch away from X509 user certificates. It never came into common use in the industry, and so we needed to have some other solution. And so all the active experiments hosted at Fermilab, there's about 30 of them, I think, and roughly that order have been sending the JSON Web Tokens with all our good jobs for about a year and a half now. And our tokens adhere to the WLCG Common JWT Profile, and they're issued by CI logon. And after a period of we were sending both types with all the jobs, now they're no longer sent because CI logon isn't generating them as of a couple weeks ago. Most of our software components at Fermilab and our grid infrastructure had to be touched for this, as it was quite a very large project, and either been updated or replaced to support tokens. And most of them are available as open source, so I'd like to encourage if other people are doing this transition too, take a look at what we've done, and maybe some be able to borrow some of them. Also, the protocols follow open standards wherever we can, particular OpenIDC Connect, the OpenID Connect, and the OAuth 2, and we've adapted them to primarily command line interfaces. That's what most of our tools were oriented. Now, our overall security goals in the design were to strongly protect all the long-lived credentials, and also to minimize the power use those capabilities to try and keep things minimized, and especially those that are widely exposed, like those get sent with jobs. And also, we have ease of use goal. We wanted to avoid having end users having to manage tokens. There's usually people in each project that need to understand it, but not all the end users. So I call this the core of the system. I think kind of designed around this. It's also because it's what I designed, so I kind of biased about that. We are using a OpenBOW now. We started out with HashiCorp Vault, but OpenBOW is the open source, more open fork of that. And it's a popular general purpose secret store system, and comes already with OpenIDC Connect support and with Kerberos support, and integrated with CI Logon's provider, as well as the one that's been chosen for CERN, the Indigo IAM. And it manages access with its own tokens. It's sort of kind of this distributed handoff that we were talking about a little while ago too. And so we use it to store the high value, long-lived refresh tokens, because they are, and we use it for all the users. Most of the users get stored inside here to try and limit the security vulnerability. Instead of setting those things that last a long time everywhere, we want to have them in a controlled system where only a few people have access. And it's configured with a package called htvault config. And so sometimes we just call it htvault. It's the combination of that package with the Vault or OpenBOW. And that package adds a couple more plugins. It also natively supports 3 servers for high availability. The system is really, really important, so we want it to be highly available. And the client then for that htvault is called htget token. And it automates all the flows, and initially authenticates via OIDC in a web browser, so it defers to web browser. And then we use we call long life refresh tokens. They stay in HT Vault. They're long life. They last a month the way we've configured them, but they're infinitely renewable. So they're long lived. And then we access them with the 1 week Vault tokens. And then even shorter, the 3 hour access tokens get sent to jobs. And they are they're JSON Web Tokens, and they get stored unencrypted in local files for a few hours. And they get stored, where they get stored is follows the WLCG bearer token discovery, so we can interoperate with other tools that support that, and uses then Vault tokens to get access, to get those access tokens. So we have a Vault, whenever we have a Vault token, we can contact HT Vault, get access tokens, and also then we'll renew the HT Vault access with Kerberos, so we don't have to go through the OIDC authentication, the more user interaction web browser as often. And also, or it can also be renewed with SSH agent for those who don't have Kerberos. And then this package concludes some helper tools, HT token SSH in particular. This is for renewing those access tokens. So when you're running interactively, you don't have to worry about them being expired. And also HT decode token is a handy tool for looking inside the JSON Web Token, and HT destroy token to delete it. There are already other organizations that are using this package, these tools, HT Vault and HT get token. LIGO in particular is using it in production, and then JLab and BNL and CMS are working on that. So it's just a little quick picture of how the pieces work. So we start out with the HT get token on the command line, and when it contacts HT Vault and there's nothing there yet, it will then go to be redirected to the web browser. You go through your identity provider, and this is CI logon, and it's then CI logon sends a refresh token and a JWT to HT Vault, and then the access token goes on to the client, and also a Vault token instead of the refresh token. So CI login does our token issuing, and we have, like I said, about 30. 5 of them are bigger collaborations. They each have their own URL, CI logon, their own token issuer, where otherwise the rest of them, smaller ones, we put into one called Fermilab. And so CI login, like as you heard from Jim, has lots of other customers as well, and not just US but Australia. And we decided not to use co-manage, so perhaps maybe the only one and instead we made an arrangement with CI logon, defined a specific API for LDAP, and so we have our own system called Fairy. It's specific to Fermilab and manage lots of experiments, has some ServiceNow integration, other things that we needed that co-manage didn't have, at least at the time. So, and then we also have a script which reads that to generate the configuration for HT Vault. And some of our other tools, we have JSub Lite. That's kind of a wrapper around HT Condor Lite that kind of gives our own interface to it, and it's also intended to be general purpose, but so far Fermilab is the only one who's been interested in that. And it was designed from the beginning to use with tokens, and also works with multiple HT Condor SCEDs. We have separate servers. We have large number of users and such. So usually, yeah, there are multiple. Also for reliability, I think there's multiple SCEDs available for all the experiments. Some of them have their own bigger ones, and then we also use the Glide NWMS system, as I heard that mentioned earlier today. But it also had to be updated, not so much, but a little bit, to be able to work with the WLCG Profile access tokens to submit pilot jobs and to the CEs. And then we had a integration with HT Condor. So there's a package as part of HT Condor, Condor Credmon Vault. It's a sub-package of both HT Condor. I call them client and server. It's for both sides of the access point, I think. And then it will integrate with HTCondor, HTVault, and there's this new script as part of it. It's Condor Vault Store, and Condor Submit it's basically a plugin to Condor Submit. It calls out to Condor Vault Store whenever jobs are submitted, and then it talks to a Condor Credman Vault, which is a plugin to CredD. It's on the same machine as the SCED, and then Condor Vault Store sends a 4-week vault token to Condor Credman Vault, and then it was able to regularly renew them by it contacts HTVault, and then Condor sends those to jobs with the Condor shadow process. It's kind of a picture of all those pieces I just described in words, but I don't want to go through too much time. But so the Condor Submit calls out to the Condor Vault Store and connect to HTVault when necessary. It will then also go to the web user's web browser, and CI login will issue the tokens, and when make sure that the tokens don't expire. This one, Condor CredD will renew those. I think every 20 minutes or so it renews them, so that there's kind of close to the maximum time left on the jobs in case something goes wrong, and passes them on then to the user's job so we can access the data servers. So yeah, as I had mentioned before, so the refresh tokens go here, they stay in HTVault, and then vault tokens get into to the user's job submission and also the CredD here. So we also have a managed token service. I like to say that this is probably not the way you would design it if you didn't already have the HTVault system, but since we have the HTVault system, this is kind of a natural extension to it. So they were designed primarily for the interactive user, but we also have lots of cases where there are what we call robot operations, where we want to automate system job submissions and that kind of things. They're spread over a whole lot of different machines. Different experiments have their own. Some of the multiple experiments have different machines. And those also require long-lived credentials, the ones that need to be able to be without having a user intervene every now and then. So we wanted to protect those also on a secured host that's not that's not not distributed all over the place wherever the robots are running. Just having just a place where just a few people, trusted system administrators, have access. Call that a bastion host. And so we call this a managed token service, and so then the operator of the managed token service does the initial OIDC authentication, and then this service maintains Kerberos key tabs for each of the credentials. And again, that could be done instead with also SSH authentication instead if we wanted to, and then it pushes vault tokens to those robot machines. Now you could design it to say we could just have it push access tokens instead of vault tokens, but this way with this system, that system could be down for a couple of days. It doesn't really, it doesn't have to be highly available because it's the vault tokens last for a week. So then it also at the same time will push those. It calls Condor Vault Store just like a job submit does, or a Condor Submit does, and then so they make sure that the CredD stays up to date with its vault token. And this also is open source. It was intentionally designed to be general purpose. Anybody else who's using HTVault with HTCondor might want to use this system. So this is just a kind of a same things again in pictures, but just want to emphasize that. Oops, wrong button here. That the managed token service, it gets it gets a vault token, and we'll store a this actually probably should say 28-day and 1 week tokens. We get 2 of them and store the 4-week one into into Condor CredD, and a 1 week one gets pushed then via SSH to the user's experiment interactive nodes where they're running their robots. And it also then contains the credentials that needs to be able to renew access to vaults. So yeah, and other components. That we needed to update. So we use Dcache as our storing provider. So that one needed to be updated to support WLCG tokens. That actually, Dcache was one of the pioneers in defining the WLCG token. So we really just needed to enable it and have a few small fixes. And I guess that the sub VOs I was telling you that a lot of the Fermilab experiments are sharing the Fermilab issuer. So then those experiments are sub VOs, and that required some non-trivial configuration of Dcache, but it didn't require development, I guess. And also directory ownership inheritance is the way we configured that. Then we have our internal script that we use. It's called Intensity Frontier Data Handler, IFDH. It's a command line front end client for a lot of other tools, several other tools that are used for moving data around. And it had to be updated to use. It was based on X509 credentials, but it's been extended for Fermilab, and also used it to locate tokens. And we also have the production operation management servers that had to have some significant updates to be able to work with tokens. It's our web and command line based system for large experiment job campaigns. And it had to be updated in similar ways as the managed token service was. And then we also have the rapid code distribution system. This is our system for based on CVMFS user pub, and this publishes individual users code on demand into CVMFS. So as part of the job sub command, and submit job submit option, and one of the options that says here's a tarball that I want you to also send to the jobs. So we do that by on-demand publishing, and then the jobs don't start running until the data the code appears. And we needed to that needed to be updated. It was just pretty simple update using the side tokens library to access with the JWTs. I just wanted to say about that system. We designed it because we had been sending jobs and tar files direct from Dcache, and that was taking up a lot of bandwidth for all the user code to going from jobs to Dcache to jobs. So this was a way to reduce the load on our Dcache servers and on the network by using CVMFS instead. Okay. And so the system's been working reliable after we fix very reliably after fixing our early issues, and the credentials are almost as hidden from users as they can be. Just when they submit jobs, the first time they do it, they're asked to go and enter a URL into their web browser, and by the rest of the time they don't need to see them. And those long-lived credentials only store on the minimal secured hosts, and yeah, configuration is all managed by the server operators. And the reducing scopes, this is something that's not part of this overall system. We have limited scopes and audiences. We depend on the experiment, each one to have some experts to reduce those. And JWTs are much better supported. They're more secure in X509, and can be much more purpose specific. So. And we don't send the X509 certs anymore. So that's it.
Questions for Dave?
Hey, Dave.
been talking about.
Thanks for the presentation. If you could back up slides to the integration with HT Condor, backing up. And then, yeah, this one, and then there's the managed token service. So my question is, there's an awful lot of pieces here. And while I agree with you that the system works reliably after we ironed out a lot of initial work, the problem is, in my mind, is ongoing. So I would say maybe it's been quite reliable at Fermi because I believe you run the LTS version, for instance, of HT Condor. LIGO, for instance, runs the new feature series, and because in Path our locale is OS Pool and CHTC, which don't use Vault. LIGO has been doing a lot of heavy lifting of integration testing of all of this. And then to add to it, the managed service for the robots and all this is a whole nother. So I'm wondering if you have thoughts on how we can collaborate on integration testing, because I don't know if Fermi does regular integration testing. We like to do automated testing per commit. That's a little difficult with all these services. Some of them don't like running in containers. They're all using systemd, yada, yada, yada.
Well, Brian Lynn was talking to me about trying to introduce the some more testing at the level when we updated an OSG. But yeah, I have some regression tests that I run. It's not so easy to automate because of that interactive authentication, the OIDC authentication. You can test everything other than the OIDC authentication, but yeah,
maybe over lunch or something.
Yeah.
We could maybe to HTC futures we need BOFs or something, birds of feathers. But maybe we could have a lunch table to talk about how we could regression test this.
Yeah.
Todd, is there a way to do any of this testing remote, get the HD Vault? Is there a way for us to leverage what Fermi is doing to test the left side, which is the Condor software, with the HD Vault? So it's not the HD Vault that we are running. I don't know what are firewalls, permissions, God knows what, but maybe that's a part of the solution or part of the collaboration with Fermi to leverage the fact that they're running an HD Vault in production, because I don't see a reason why the job submission needs to be at Fermi.
No, I mean it's easy also to run. I mean, it's easy to install one too. It's probably worthwhile just running one in a virtual machine, but.
Yeah, we do run one in a virtual machine, but it's I'm wondering how we can collaborate to get all this testing.
Because the problem is that at the moment we have only 2 Vault instances in production. It's you guys and LIGO, and for us to do a really thorough testing, it's heavy lifting. Especially as we anticipate pressure on our total effort profile. So if we can leverage and collaborate here, I think it will be good for you guys also in terms of our new version, but also for LIGO.
Yeah, I had a kind of non-technical question because I think you covered all the technical aspects in that talk, which was changes and dealing with distributed systems mean dealing with different groups of people. And it sounds like you've got a lot of different groups with a lot of different internal expertise about how they were using X509 before. If you had, was wondering if you had anything to say about dealing with that aspect of things as opposed to just getting the tokens working and getting the process in sorted.
Okay, can you rephrase the question part of it? Yeah.
Did you have anything to say, lessons learned or advice for other groups that were going through similar transitions in terms of dealing with, people generally don't like to change unless they absolutely have to. How do you convince them to do it early? So
Oh, wow.
that's that sort of.
Whether people are willing to change, that what you mean? Yeah, how to get them to be willing to change? Is that the gist of the question?
That's one example of potential issues that might have come up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear you too. But
Back and away from the mouth.
yeah, you gotta. Right into the mic. Yeah, I would look. So yeah, uh, people were forced to change. That's all I could say. Is that yeah, we had for a long time we had both X509 and tokens being sent to the jobs, and it was only because CI login finally forced us to stop sending X509. That's when all the experiments, we gave them lots of warning and stuff like that, and lots of saying this is going to be turned off, and a month ahead of time we turned off the default so that it wasn't sending anymore, but allowed them to switch it back on, and so there were still some people using it when we turned it off, but they were forced to finally change. So yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.